Now I would come with the application of art therapy with children. So the major components of intervention with children who have experienced trauma include the following: re-exposure to trauma memories and experiences. So initially, see, we do not re-expose them to the trauma. Initially, we need to have a good rapport with the child so that they feel comfortable to share secrets with their therapist, so that they can trust, so that they can believe that the therapist can help them. So for that particular reason, we need to first establish a good rapport with the child first. But afterwards, we need to actually make the child re-expose the trauma, experience the trauma memories, so that we can get a detailed description of what the child has gone through. Why this is necessary? Because there might be some attributes to that particular experience which may need reporting to the police, which may need reporting to their parents, which might need some action. So that is why we need to re-experience this incident which happened with the child. So, but yeah, that is done in a very sensitive manner and very slowly. And art is a very useful form by which we can actually do this. We can re-expose the child. Play also serves as a very good substitute, like through dolls, play therapy basically. But again, for play therapy, you need a lot of toys and everything. But for art, that is not needed. For art, you just need a pen and a paper basically. So, re-exposure to the trauma memories and experiences, developing a trauma narrative or telling of the story, and cognitive reframing, externalizing the story into a visual presentation of the elements of that experience and the cognitive reframing of that experience into one that is manageable, are the goals of successful trauma intervention. Drawing is a critical component of both re-exposure and telling the story. Structure is also an important component that promotes safety and must be maintained throughout the entire process for children to actively participate in trauma intervention. So, drawing activities should relate to the major themes of trauma. For example, children are asked to draw what happened and what the victim looked like at the time. The purpose of drawing is not to analyze or evaluate, but to trigger sensory memories of the trauma. When the child externalizes and concretizes experiences in a way that makes us a witness to the experience, it allows the child to regain power over those memories and reorder them in a way that is manageable. Drawings are initiated in a sequential order and in association with specific themes and activities. The instruction is draw whatever you like. It is specific. For example, draw me a picture of what your heart looks like. Drawing is a psychomotor activity, as we know. Because trauma is a sensory experience, not solely a cognitive experience, intervention must include ways to tap sensory memories of the trauma as well. Drawing provides a safe vehicle to communicate what children, even adults, often have no words to describe. Drawing engages children in the active involvement in their own healing. It enables them to move from passive, internal, and uncontrollable reactions to their traumas into an active, direct realization of those trauma experiences. And drawing provides a symbolic representation of the trauma experience in a language and a format that is external and concrete and therefore manageable. The drawing format itself is effective. The paper acts as a container of the trauma. The contained trauma can now be managed at a sensory, tactile level by the child. The child can use it as he or she wants, thereby giving the child a sense of empowerment over the trauma. Drawing provides a visual focus on details that encourages children via trauma-specific questions to tell their story and to give it a language which can then be recorded in a way that is also manageable. Drawing provides for the diminishing of reactivity, that is anxiety, to these memories through repeated visual re-exposure in a medium that is perceived and felt to be safe by the child. So the child is not re-exposed to the same trauma over and over again. If you would think that if I'm re-exposing the child to the trauma, then what if it adds to the child's trauma? In this case, it is not so. Why? Because the child himself or herself is making the drawing. So the child will make it in a way which makes it feel safe. So if you would see the drawings, it would generally include the child being in a reclusive area. The child usually makes the drawings such that the child feels safe. And like when we make the child draw that same thing over and over again after a particular period, so maybe every month we are making them draw what your heart looks like. So we will also find that there is a transition. Initially it might be something which is very, which has a very severe kind of an effect, which seems very threatening, but slowly we would find that the nature of threat in the art will decrease, and the child also has to come to an understanding. So our purpose of positive reframing is to help the child understand that it was not his or her fault. It is not his or her fault, and the other person has been punished for what he or she has done, or will be punished for what he or she has done, and now the child is safe, and the child is now able to distinguish who can cause him harm and who will not cause him harm. So that is our motive basically. And if we basically re-expose the child to the same trauma, the intensity of the emotion decreases.